If you're parenting a teenager, you know it can feel like you're navigating a maze in the dark, right? The goal isn't just to get through it, but to actually help them build the kind of deep, real confidence they'll need for the rest of their lives. So let's get into how we can do that. I want to start with a pretty tough question because it really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. Are we, with the absolute best of intentions, accidentally undermining the very confidence we're trying so hard to build? It's a surprisingly easy trap to fall into, and today we're going to figure out how to avoid it. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get into why this stage is so different. Then we'll talk about this huge shift from manager to mentor. After that, we'll get practical with building independence and why respect is everything. And we'll wrap up by focusing on the ultimate goal, raising an adult who really trusts themselves.
Okay, so first things first, why is parenting a teen so different? It is so easy to take their behavior personally, but a huge chunk of it really just comes down to biology. Seriously, it's not you, it's their brain science.
You know, this idea of a brain that's literally under construction just explains so much. The part that handles judgment and impulse control, it's still developing. And at the exact same time, they are biologically hardwired to pull away, to seek independence, and to question authority. You put all that together, and of course they're super sensitive to whether or not they're being treated with respect. Just understanding this changes everything about how we should approach them. And this brain science, it kind of forces our hand. It means we have to rethink our role entirely. It's time for probably the most important job promotion a parent will ever get. This shift from being a manager to becoming a mentor. Think about it. When they're little, our job is to be a manager. We control their world. We make all the decisions to protect them. But with a teen, that whole approach it backfires. The mentor role is all about collaborating and guiding, not giving commands. It's a total shift from being a puppet master to being their trusted guide. So what does this actually sound like, in your kitchen on a Tuesday night? We've all said it, because I said so. The mentor approach, though, sounds completely different. It sounds more like, okay, here's my concern. What do you think is fair here? See, you're still setting a boundary, but you're inviting them into the conversation to help solve the problem with you. And the psychological payoff for this is huge. It helps them develop something called internal authority. This is basically their ability to make good decisions for themselves, not just because they're following a rule to avoid getting into trouble. And that is the absolute foundation of self-trust. This brings us perfectly to our next section, the practical stuff. How do we actually build their independence? It's all about learning how to let go, but doing it in the right way. The key here is giving them real autonomy, but with a safety net still in place. Independence isn't like a light switch you just flip when they turn 18. It's something that has to be practiced. They need to make their own choices about their friends, their homework, their hobbies, in situations where the stakes are low, while you're still there to guide them if they stumble. And this single phrase right here, it can change everything. I trust you, and I'm here if you need help. Trust is basically the fuel for a teenager's confidence. When they feel that you believe in them, they start to believe in themselves. It's really that simple, and it's that powerful. Okay, this next one, this can be one of the hardest things for a parent to do. Our gut instinct is to see our kids struggle and immediately jump in to fix the problem for them. But to build their confidence, we have to fight that urge. We have to stop fixing and start coaching. So instead of saying, here, just let me handle it, you pivot. You ask coaching questions like, what are your options here? Or what do you think you're going to do? These questions immediately put them in the driver's seat and show them that you believe they can figure it out. And there's some powerful psychology at play here. Every single time a teen navigates a problem on their own, they build something called self-efficacy. That's just a fancy term for that core belief that says, I can handle things. It is the absolute bedrock of lasting confidence. Which brings us to another really tough concept, letting them fail. I know, it sounds counterintuitive. In our effort to protect them, we often try to prevent every little mistake. But failure isn't the enemy here. It's actually a critical ingredient for building real-world resilience. And when they do make a mistake, which they will, our response is everything. Hitting them with an "I told you so" just crushes their spirit. The mentor approach is to wait until things have calmed down and then ask, so, what did you learn from this? That turns a moment of failure into a powerful lesson for life. Now, none of this works without a strong foundation, which brings us to our fourth point, respect.
At the end of the day, your connection with your teen will always, always be your greatest source of influence.
Teen emotions can seem so dramatic to us, but they are 100% real to them. When we dismiss their feelings with, "Oh, it's not a big deal," we're basically telling them their internal world is wrong. But validating it, even if you don't agree with their reaction, by saying something like, "Wow, that sounds really hard," that builds connection and teaches them emotional intelligence. Treating them with dignity is also just crucial. Things like sarcasm or correcting them in public are deeply shaming. So what works? Handling mistakes in private, genuinely asking for their perspective on things. And this is a big one, apologizing when you get it wrong. That models the very respect you want to get back from them.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this really simple but profound idea. If you want to have influence in their life, focus on your connection with them, not on controlling them. A connected teen will always listen more than a controlled teen. Okay, let's bring this all together by zooming out for our final point. This isn't about winning today's argument over screen time. This is about playing the long game for their entire future. If there is one thing you take away from all this, I hope it's this mind shift right here. We need to change the fundamental question we ask ourselves. Stop asking, how do I make my teen behave? And instead start asking, how do I raise an adult who trusts their own judgment? Because that's really what's happening here. Every conversation, every disagreement, every decision they make, it's a rehearsal. It's a chance for them to practice becoming that capable, confident, and self-trusting adult that you know they can be. So I'll leave you with a little challenge for this week. What is one conversation you can have with your teen instead of at them? That one small shift can make all the difference in the world. Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer.
Like and subscribe for more updates. Write in the comments if you have any topic ideas. Thank you for watching.